Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning. And happy Mokshada Kadashi and happy Gita Jayanti. So, what an auspicious day it is today to join and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. And we'll do some japa later on. So, thank you so much. Let's make a start. And we're talking about Jaḍa Bharata. Maharaj Bharat is Jaḍa Bharata, and there's a few of his pastimes that really need some discussion. And so we'll continue. So Jaḍa Bharat used to work only for food. So we discussed last time that he didn't listen to his father's instructions. He acted like he's dumb and blind and deaf, and he just did what he wanted to do and very minimal as far as intellect was concerned. He really did not uh, follow any rules, and he did not follow rules of being a Brahmin either. He just did what he wanted to do because he wanted to be left alone to because internally he was well connected with the Lord, and he wanted to make sure that he does not get any distractions for going back home. So Jaḍa Bharat used to work only for food. His stepbrothers took advantage of this and engaged him in agriculture field work in exchange for some food. But actually, he did not know how to work very well in the field. He didn't know where to spread dirt or where to make the ground level or uneven. His brother used to give him broken rice, oil cakes, the chaff of rice, worm-eaten grains, and burnt grains that had stuck to the pot, but he gladly accepted all these as if it were nectar. He did not hold any grudges and ate all this very gladly. But still, he was very, very strong. He was very muscular, very big, and he just ate whatever was given to him. So Srila Prabhupada explains that the platform of Paramahamsas is described in Bhagavad-Gita 2.15. Sama dukha sukham dhiram so amritva kalpate. When one is callous to all duality, the happiness and distress of this material world, one is fit for Amrit Tattva, eternal life. Bharat Maharaj was determined to finish his business in this material world, and he did not at all care for the world of duality. He was complete in Krishna consciousness and was oblivious to good and evil, happiness and distress. And in the material world, conception of good and bad are all mental speculation. Is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Therefore, saying this is good and this is bad is all a mistake. One has to understand that in the material world of duality, to think that this is good or this is bad is simply a mental concoction. Because what we think is good might be bad to somebody else, and the other way around as well. What we think is bad might be good to somebody else. So what is good, what is bad, is a mental concoction. However, one should not imitate this consciousness. One should actually be situated on the spiritual platform of neutrality. Let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ukam Kroti Vachalam Pangum Namyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Ham Vande Shri Guru Dim Taranam Pramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tassat. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotmam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamaduriyat. Nasta Prishabhadureshu Nityam Bhavasevya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nestiki. Hare Krishna. So at this time, being desirous of obtaining a son, a leader of dacoits who came from a Shudra family wanted to worship the goddess Bhadra. So you're just moving on now. But the goddess Bhadra Kali, by offering her in sacrifice a dull man who is considered no better than an animal. So there's this dacoit who wants a son, and he's going to do a sacrifice to Mother Kali, and they need a dull person who they can sacrifice. That was the ritual, that was the way. The leader of the dacoits captured a man animal for sacrifice, but he escaped and the leader ordered his followers to find him. They ran in different directions but could not find him. Wandering here and there in the middle of the night, covered by dense darkness, they came to a paddy field where they saw the exalted son of the Angira family, Jaḍa Bharata, who was sitting in an elevated place guarding the field against the attacks of deer and wild pigs. The followers and servants of the dacoit chief considered Jaḍa Bharata to possess qualities quite suitable for a man animal. So, outwardly he didn't seem like a normal person or a normal human being. And they decided that he was a perfect choice for sacrifice. Their faces bright with happiness, they bound him with ropes and brought him to the temple of the goddess Kali. So in some parts of India, animalistic men are still sacrificed before the goddess Kali. However, such a sacrifice is only performed by Shudras and dacoits. Their business is to plunder the wealthy, and to become successful, they offer an animalistic man before the goddess Kali. It should be noted that they never sacrifice an intelligent man before the goddess. In the body of Brahman, Bharat Maharaj appeared deaf and dumb, yet he was the most intelligent man in the world. Nonetheless, being completely surrendered onto the Supreme Personality Godhead, he remained in that condition and did not protest being brought before the deity for slaughter. As we have learned from the previous verses, he was very strong and could have very easily avoided being bound with ropes, but he did not do anything. He simply depended on the Supreme Personality Godhead for his protection. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes surrender unto the Supreme Lord in this way. Marabi rakhabi yo ichha tohara nitya das prati tuya adhikara. My Lord, I am now surrendered unto you. I am your eternal servant. And if you like, you can kill me, or if you like, you can protect me. In any case, I am fully surrendered unto you. So after this, all the thieves, according to their imaginative ritual for killing animalistic men, bathed Jaḍa Bharata. So they washed him, dressed him in new clothes, decorated him with the ornaments befitting an animal, smeared his body with scented oils, and decorated him with tilak, sandalwood, pulp, and garlands. They fed him sumptuously, and then brought him before the goddess Kali, offering her incense, lamps, garlands, parched grain, newly grown twigs, sprouts, fruits, and flowers. In this way, they worshiped the deity before killing the man animal, and they vibrated songs and prayers and played drums and bugles. Jaḍa Bharata was then made to sit down before the deity. So according to the Vedic Shastras, everything must be done according to regulative principles. But here it is stated that the thieves and rogues devise their own process for killing an animalistic person. The Tamasic Shastras give instructions for the sacrifice of an animal like a goat or buffalo before the goddess Kali. So, yeah, I can't imagine any Shastra giving instruction for sacrificing a human being. So it's usually a goat or a buffalo sacrifice, but they are sacrificing a person, a man. But there is no mention of killing a man, however dull he may be. This process was manufactured by the dacoits themselves. Even at this time, there are many sacrifices being conducted without reference to Vedic scriptures. And things like that, in the Bhagavad-Gita, divisions of faith. So people have different faiths, not necessarily following the scriptures. At this time, one of the thieves acted as the chief priest. He was ready to offer the blood of Jaḍa Bharata, whom they imagined to be an animal man, to the goddess Kali to drink as liquor. He therefore took up a very fearsome sword, which was very sharp, and consecrated it by the mantra of Bhadra Kali, raised it to kill Jaḍa Bharata. So all the rogues and thieves who had made arrangements for the worship of goddess Kali were low-minded and bound to be into the modes of passion and ignorance. They were offered power by a desire to become very rich. Therefore, they had the audacity to disobey the injunctions of the Vedas, so much so that they were prepared to kill Jaḍa Bharata, a self-realized soul born in Brahma family. Due to the envy, these dacoits brought him before the goddess Kali for sacrifice. Such people are always addicted to envious activities, and therefore they dare to try to kill Jaḍa Bharata. Jaḍa Bharata was the best friend of all living entities. He was one's enemy. He was no one's enemy, and he was always absorbed in meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was born of a good Brahmin father, and killing him was forbidden, even though he might have been an enemy or aggressive person. So, even our Krishna consciousness movement tell us that we should not perceive somebody from their outer appearance or behavior, because you don't know internally there might be very exalted devotee, or there might be very exalted devotee in the future. So we have to be very careful of passion of aparadh to anyone, especially if they're chanting the holy name. We have to be very careful, because we could be insulting or doing aparadh against a person that is very dear to Krishna. So we have to be very careful. In any case, there was no reason to kill Jaḍa Bharata, and the goddess Kali could not bear this because he was a devotee of Krishna. She could not bear to see this, what's happening to him, what they're doing to him. She could immediately understand that these sinful dacoits were about to kill a great devotee of the Lord. So even Kali, Shiva, they're all devotees of the Lord. They are Vaishnavas. They're given certain duties. They're just following the orders. But internally, they are all devotees of the Lord. Suddenly, the deity's body burst asunder, and the goddess Kali personally emerged from it in a body burning with an intense and intolerable effulgence. So, according to the Vedic injunctions, only an aggressor can be killed. If a person comes with an intent to kill, one can immediately take action and kill in self-defense. It is also stated that one can be killed if he comes to set fire to the home or to pollute or kidnap one's wife. Lord Ramchandra killed the entire family of Ravan because Ravan kidnapped his wife, Sita Devi. However, killing is not sanctioned in the Shastras for other purposes. And plus, we have to be careful of the law as well. What is the law of the land? Because we can't combine the Shastras with the legal requirements of each country. And it's okay. For the person, the killing of animals in sacrifice of demigods who are expansion of Supreme Personality Godhead is sanctioned for those who eat meat. This is a kind of restriction for meat eating. In other words, the slaughter of animals is also restricted by certain rules and regulations in the Vedas. Considering these points, there was no reason to kill Jaḍa Bharata. So they're saying that first, you can't kill human beings, and secondly, you can't kill human beings for no reason that they have not done anything wrong, and even animals should be slaughtered in a ritualistic way, not like they are now in abattoirs. They're just killed for commercial purposes. There was no reason to kill Jaḍa Bharata, who was born in a respectable, highly exalted Brahmin family. He was a God-realized soul and a well-wisher to all living entities. The Vedas did not at all sanction the killing of Jaḍa Bharata by rogues and thieves. Consequently, the goddess Bhadra Kali emerged from the deity to give protection to the Lord's devotee. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that due to the Brahman effulgence of such a devotee as Jaḍa Bharata, the deity was fractured. Only thieves and rogues in the mode of passion and ignorance and maddened by material opulence offer a man in sacrifice before the goddess Kali. This is not sanctioned by the Vedic instructions. Presently, there are many hundreds and thousands of slaughterhouses throughout the world that are maintained by a puffed up population mad for material opulence. Such activities are never supported by the Bhagavad school. So they're committing sin. Intolerant of the offenses committed, the infuriated goddess Kali flashed her eyes and displayed her fierce curved teeth. Her reddish eyes glowed, and she displayed her fearsome features. She assumed a frightening body. So if she were prepared to destroy the entire creation, leaping violently from the altar, she immediately decapitated all the rogues and thieves with the very sword with which they had intended to kill Jaḍa Bharata. She then began to drink the hot blood that flowed from the necks of the beheaded rogues and thieves, as if this blood were liquor. Indeed, she drank this intoxicant with her associates who were witches and female demons. Becoming intoxicated with his blood, they all began to sing very loudly and dance as though prepared to annihilate the entire universe. At the same time, they began to play with the heads of the rogues and thieves, tossing them about as if they were balls. So it is evident from this verse that the devotees of Goddess Kali are not at all favored by her. It is Goddess Kali's work to kill and punish the demons. Goddess Kali, which is Durga, engaged in decapitating many demons, dacoits, and other unwanted elements in society. Neglecting Krishna consciousness, foolish people try to satisfy the goddess by offering her many abominable things, but ultimately, when there is a little discrepancy in this worship, the goddess punishes the worshipper by taking his life. Demoniac people worship goddess Kali to obtain some material benefit, but they are not excused of the sins performed in the name of worship. To sacrifice a man or animal before the deity is specifically forbidden. When an envious person commits an offense before a great personality, is always punished in the way mentioned above. So never mind just doing Vaishnava Aparadh, these people are going to kill a Vaishnava. And this is what they get, they get their heads chopped off. So, Vaishnava etiquette is very, very important. You have to be very careful how you treat Vaishnavas. Shukadeva Goswami then said to Maharaj Parikshit, "O Vishnu, that those who already know that the soul is separate from the body, who are liberated from the invincible knot in the heart, who are always engaged in welfare activities for all living entities, and who never contemplate harming anyone, are always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead." I'll just read this again. Those who already know that the soul is separate from the body, so we are spirit soul, we are not this body, who are liberated from the invincible knot in the heart, so this knot of attachments and desires, who are always engaged in welfare activities for all living entities, who never contemplate harming anyone, are always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the qualification. Who carries his disc and acts as supreme time to kill the demons and protect his devotees. The devotees always take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. Therefore, at all times, even if threatened by decapitation, they remain unagitated. For them, this is not at all wonderful. So these are some of the great qualities of a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First, the devotee is firmly convinced of his spiritual identity, that he is spirit soul. He never identifies with the body. He is firmly convinced that the spirit soul is different from the body. Consequently, he fears nothing. Even though his life may be threatened, he is not at all afraid. He does not even treat an enemy like an enemy. Such are the qualifications of devotees. Devotees are always fully dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Lord is always eager to give them all protection in all circumstances. So a devotee does not consider his body, he sees the body, he sees the body separate from himself. He says, okay, this is the body, this is the vehicle, this is the instrument that I need to use to get back home. He doesn't see the, oh, I am this body, my body this, my body that, and he's like very attached to their body, or he's fearful of things, and we all are. I'd say that's the qualification, but we all are. We have our fears, and we see danger, we get very fearful. We sometimes imagine fear and we expand it in our minds, and we get all worked up about it. So yes, we do, even though we know in terms of knowledge that we are not this body, but we find it very difficult to maintain that thought or that confidence that we are a spirit soul. We always go back to the body. Any sign of trouble, we go back to the body. We want to protect the body, but we have faith that we do the right thing, and be intelligent, and Krishna is there as our protector. So although we take every action to protect, but we don't get fearful, we don't get worried, because Krishna is there with us all the time. Is in the heart as Paramatma, looking over us. So we just depend on his decision, on his instructions, on his decision, what he would like, and let's not be fearful and think that we are the controllers, that we can control things, because we really can't. He's the only controller. So thank you all so much for joining. Hina Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Madhav Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Praveen Mataji, Pundrikaksh Prabhu, Sarveshi Mataji, and my father Loji. So thank you so much. He's gone. That's going to catch him today, but he was too quick for me. But anyway, we'll hear from our Sarveshi Mataji. Mataji, what do you think about this? What's happening with Jaḍa Bharata, and how exalted he wasn't fearful, and Krishna was there to protect him. Can we become like that as well? Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think Bharat Maharaj, he was a pure devotee. He had full faith in Krishna, and he was self-satisfied because he went through under so many difficulties, but he was self-satisfied. And in this world, material world is full of dualities like happiness, distress, good friends, enemies, Ona, this, Ona. But Bharat Maharaj, he tolerated all this. And he was very strong inside and outside. And he could tolerate all the dualities. And he's only one because he had been once devotee, then the Diya, and then this time his aim was to go back to Godhead. So that's why he tolerated everything. His only goal was to go back to Godhead. And of course, he was. There are three kinds of material, like goodness, passion, and ignorance. And people in mode of goodness, they worship demigods. Mode of passion, they worship some high personality, some human being or king or something like that. And the mode of ignorance, because these codes were all mode of ignorance. And they worship ghastly people like Kali, goddess Kali, and because they want some kind of benefit for themselves, so they worship God Kali. And but if you are in pure goodness, they worship Krishna, and their goal is go to back to Godhead. And Bharat Maharaj, of course, he was full surrendered person. in Sanskrit they say you shouldn't kill anybody. Even you can't kill any insect or any animal, you can't eat things. But in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says you can kill 6 kind of aggressors. Because when Arjuna, he didn't wanted to kill his grandfather and cousins and friends. So Krishna said they are aggressors and you have to kill them somebody take somebody's land or somebody's wealth or kidnap somebody's wife, set fire to the house and give poison and who strike with deadly weapons. They should be killed and there's no sin. Because all these offenses were done in Mahabharata, so these people should be killed, not a normal person like Bharat Maharaj or any other person should be killed. And Goddess Kali, she's a devotee of Krishna, and she protects the devotees, Vaishnavas, especially Vaishnavas. And she was not very happy when they wanted to kill Bharat Maharaj. So instead of killing Bharat Maharaj, she killed the dacoit. So the Vaishnava, they always protect the Vaishnava. So this way Maharaj Bharat's character, he was very, very strong person. He was inside, outside, because he had all the good qualities of a Vaishnava. He was a highly exalted Vaishnava. And he could tolerate. For a common man, it's very hard to tolerate devotees of this material world. But he was above the material nature. So that's what I can say. Don't know what to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martin. Yes, thank you for mentioning that. The core of they had broken all they done all the 6 kinds of aggressions, so there really was no excuse for them to be let off. And Krishna reminded Arjun that they have broken every rule in the book, and yes, that should definitely be taken out of circulation, so to speak. Thank you so much, Madhu. Jai Prabhu has mentioned a few summary points. So Jaḍa Bharata was captured by a dacoit party and was to be killed and offered as a sacrifice for the goddess Kali. She could not tolerate what they're doing and came out from the deity of herself and killed all the dacoits with a weapon they were going to use. Rogues who misbehaved toward devotee are punished by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Those who know the soul is separate from the body, who are always engaged in activities for living entities, and who never harm anyone or even contemplate doing so, are always protected by the Supreme Personality Godhead. That's the qualification of a great devotee. Thank you so much. And Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. Oh, glories to Prabhupada. Yes, some really nice points I think have already been shared by the devotees. Particularly, I like you emphasised that that we should be very careful not to judge anybody from their externals. It's very easy to make Vaishnava aparads otherwise. And Krishna, I was just thinking how Krishna never really forgets any service that we might have offered. He himself becomes a devotee of his devotee. And I was also thinking about how gradually, through this path, through devotional service, we're able to let go of any fears, and it's through the whole surrendering process. If we know, then I think gradually what happens over time is that we know Krishna has our back. He is our ultimate protector. So those fears start to go, and we know that we're always protected, essentially by the Lord. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Praveen Mataji, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yeah. Very nice Matajis. They put their points and Jai Prabhu. The only thing I was thinking was like we have to fully surrender to the Lord. We have to be dependent because He provides protection. So we should not get upset with like ups and downs in lives. So whatever is destined is Krishna's plan, and we should happily accept it and should not indulge in mental concoction. No, this is not good. This is why it's happened to me. And so, like Jaḍa Bharata, we have to be internally connected to the Lord and detached from externally. We have to be detached from the world. So happy Ekadashi and happy Gita Jayanti to everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
And like, don't judge a book, like they say,
Yeah.
don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes,
So we can do a Vaishnava Prath, we should not judge anybody or insult anyone.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Madhuri. Pundikakshru.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. No more points to add. All the points are really very nice. Yeah, happy Janmashtami to everyone. That's all.
You always have point to add. I'm not gonna agree with that. You always have point to add. So please add something.
No problem. Yeah, and you mentioned one point. Anyhow, like in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna asking Arjuna asks in the 13th chapter that what will happen to those people who perform certain sacrifices which are not mentioned in the Vedic scriptures.
Yes.
Even today, we see so many people doing different kinds of worship. Like if you go to India, especially my place, you can see people worshipping different kind of goddess as well there, whose name I don't think mentioned in Vedas anywhere.
Yes.
But they, so again, Krishna says again connecting to the three modes, that again worshipping in mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, and that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, in the division of faith, Arjuna asks Krishna, because Krishna is talking about the following faith. And then he says, what about people who really have faith, but they're not necessarily following the injunctions or the Vedic scriptures? What happens to those? What's the destination of those people? And that was Arjuna's question. And then Krishna explaining that, whoever you worship, that's where you end up. If you worship the Pitters, you will end up in Pitterlok. If you worship the ghosts and the ghouls, then you will end up on their planet. So whoever, all paths don't lead to the same destination. This is sometimes we think that, because we think we're doing the pious thing, or we are worshiping, or we think we're worshiping God, and we're going to all end up in the same place. But Krishna says, now all destinations don't lead to the same place. All paths lead to the same destination. Whichever path you're following, that's where you will end up, right?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Okay. So unless there's any other points, we'll do some chanting. Any questions or any points anybody wants to make? Okay. Wonderful. Okay. And let's do a couple of rounds nicely on this Gita Jayanti day. Swashi Mataji, Praveen Mataji. Hare Krishna. And
Namo Vikalaya Avastaya Bhutale Srimati